So I'm starting this channel um, as a series, right, of my story, the survival of religious trauma, family trauma, deconstructing toxic belief patterns, right, about myself, about others, about God. Most importantly, I feel. Um, I'm hoping that my videos will resonate with the right person. They will help them look at things, reevaluate things, feel motivated, feel like you are not alone. But even if my videos don't do that, I hope that underneath the comments, people will find support, people will find their tribe, people will find a place of understanding. So I'm going to start with a story from when I was young. About 2 years earlier, I had chosen, of my own volition, not from my parents or anything of that nature, to get baptized in my religion. I was so excited. I was so happy. I always felt very close to God. Always wanted to make Him happy. But this was a public symbol of my dedication to Him. And so on this particular day, things were bad at home. And they had been bad at home. And so I thought I'd want to run away. So I got a couple of things, put it in a big plastic bag, and I went down our stairs, our apartment stairs, and I came out on the main street. So I lived in a very small town. In front of our apartment was a huge, beautiful post office. Then there was the flood wall, then the river, right? And of course, it being a main street, it being a small town, there was a bench. So I sat down on the bench and I just started to think. And my main focus of that time was, what will people say about God if I run away? What will people think of God if they find out why I ran away? It'll bring reproach, it'll bring negative things to His name. And I don't want to do that because I loved Him. I love God the way a child loves her father. So took a deep breath and I went back. But that was the beginning of a very dangerous road, if I can describe it that way, for me, of believing that God didn't have any interest in my well-being, that God purposed me to suffer in silence so that it didn't bring negativity, reproach on His name. But also to accept the people around me, to know what I was going through as a child, the abuse, and do nothing. But they also claim to love God. And so it really messed with my self-esteem, right? My view of God. Still didn't think anything negative of Him, but just kind of accepting that God didn't care about my happiness, right? My well-being. Me as a little girl who loved Him so much. So to those who resonate with this story of suffering in silence for the name of religion or the name of God, things like that, I hope you remember something that I now know, right? God does not support, does not look down with happiness or any joy that you suffer in silence. In my religion, there was a judicial system in which things that people did that were wrong were handled in order to keep the church clean. But it really messes with your mentality or how you feel about yourself, or you feel God feels about you, when abuse or injustices are let slide because you're you. And so I just want to say, know that while people may not care about your suffering, know that God does. And He doesn't expect you to stay in silence. He doesn't expect you to stay just for the sake of His name. The person who has mistreated you, who has abused you, has already brought that negativity. And that was something that was later brought out in my religion. But this is the beginning of my journey. And I'm just going to tell little stories, little things that happened that kind of molded the way that I felt. But I always want to, at the end, remind everyone that those were erroneous thoughts. Those were not God's thoughts. Those were not a reflection of my worth, and it is not a reflection of yours. Just because somebody says they represent God, if they are telling you to do something that hurts you, right, and you don't have any biblical, right, nothing in the Bible says that you shouldn't do this, know that in that moment, they are not representing God. That's just my perspective, okay? And the God that I've loved since I was a little girl, I now know agrees with that. We all have to endure trials and tribulations, but those do not need to be abuse. Those do not need to be from our family, from our friends, from anybody. In the name of God. If you want to hear more of my stories, come join this journey with me. Um, I'll do them on a consistent basis, I promise. But um, join this journey with me, and if it helps you, keep watching. Until next time.